controlled by both players. Okay. For some reason, replays lag, so you have to set it to extra high, even though it doesn't make a difference.
Knife.
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 I found the soundboard, as I always do.
Oh god. Oh, there is a big story behind it, but I won't elaborate onto it. I might elaborate on it during the Pixie Cup broadcast.
A dingo ate my baby. The Hotbid soundboard, which I'm guessing him and you created on a fun night probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah, there's a big story behind it, but
Cool.
I won't go onto it right now.
All right, so this was like the semis, round of 8.
This was winners semis, yes.
Yeah.
So, I won my first game against Namakayo, and then I had to play against Glow. He beat Sensei actually in the round before, so knowing that he beat Sensei, I had a feeling that he was pretty decent. So,
Yeah.
okay, the first thing I want to note right here is I fucked up. So, you notice at the 3 o'clock position, I have that probe lying there.
Yeah.
Because Zergs will always try and scout the direction where they can look at the natural without the Protoss player finding out. So what I do here is I leave a probe, but the thing is, I wait. I don't know the exact timing of it, so I missed the Overlord actually going by, which is unfortunate. So he probably sees my probe.
Is there a way to swap to a player's vision? There isn't, right?
Do you see the eye icon on the bottom left?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
So yeah, so you can see he sees my probe, but
Yeah.
my probe can't see the Overlord.
He could
And,
also like choose to avoid you, right? Because your
yeah,
probe's
exactly.
like being seen, so it would be better for you to like arrive as the Overlord's already out the low ground.
Yeah, but the thing is, I guess this is different on different maps, this method, because
Yeah.
say on Circuit Breaker, you notice that there's a high ground that's disrupting my vision, so I can't see the Overlord. On a map like, say, Fighting Spirit, where it's an elevated third base, because the third base is
Yeah, you can
higher,
see
like, a higher
everything
level,
there.
I can see everything. Yeah, exactly. So, this is something like a technique that I still got to work on.
Yeah, you got to memorize the
should've
timing
waited.
on every map for that.
Exactly.
One.
Yeah. And luckily, with the game timer, you can be like, okay, at 120, if I don't see anything, I will scout X position. So you can see here, I moved my probe to the bottom left because I'm assuming that he's probably either at the bottom left or top right, top left. But in reality, he's actually at the bottom right.
Yeah.
Yep. So we can see he's going for overpull, which is pretty much the standard build for Zergs in this matchup because it forces the Protoss to get at least one cannon. There are so many games that I've seen Protosses die to an overpull because they get really greedy. So
normally you just build anywhere between 2 and 6 Zerglings out there, and the timing of it just forces that cannon. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Obviously, you want the 2 to get rid of the initial probe, or 6 if you want to apply a bit of pressure. If the wall-in of the toss is like really bad, then you can get away with like maybe a run-by, and you can get some Zerglings into the main base. But if you want, yeah, just basically how you're feeling at the time. If you want to be economical, then you can get just the 2. If you want and get the 2 extra drones, or if you want to be a bit more aggressive, you get the 6.
Yeah, nice. Hey, do you know how to use the zoom out function, by the way, in this?
Mouse wheel.
Oh! That's so cool. That's so cool. Holy shit. Sorry, I've been meaning to play around with that. I should cast some matches for fun. Oh, and you can zoom in so much as well. Hey, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I just don't know the hotkey to get it back to default, but whatever.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to figure out where the default is. I'm like, I think I found it. Roughly.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're both pretty much playing pretty standard right now. I do miss a pylon, so my probe deduction's a bit behind. No big deal though. Notice he's actually taking the mineral only rather than the 6 o'clock or the base at the bottom left. So
yeah,
this suggests to me that he wants, like, in my mind, I feel like he wants to do some sort of aggressive build because he wants to get those hatcheries a bit closer together, a bit closer to my base. He's not really desperate for that third gas in the mid game, but I see later on that I completely misread it.
Yeah. Right. And you're just gonna. How do you normally play PvZ? You just go Ser Zealot.
Yep.
Do you bother with DTs or do you skip on them?
I don't bother getting TTs. What I like to do in this matchup is to get a really early second gas, so I can get my tech up much quicker. Because what I really like is a lot of Zealot timing pushes. So I try and get that +1 on the forge as soon as possible. And generally, around the time that I transfer my probes to the expansion, I build my gas. But because I see this early Hydralisk den, and I see not too many drones, I start panicking a bit, and I try and get the cannons up as soon as possible, because Hydra Busts are the worst. So it's the worst feeling is like when you lose to Hydra Bust when you scout it. So
I guess in hindsight, you'd probably want to delay these cannons by another maybe 20-30 seconds, and you'd probably still be safe, right?
Yeah, also I should have paid more attention to the drone count, because the stuff is pretty saturated at each of the bases. A quicker Hydra Bust would have way fewer drones. Also, I scout the lair as well, so when I scout the lair, I should know that, it's probably not going to be busts, it's probably just going to be lurkers or something like that. Because if they're going to go for a spire opening, they're not going to get the Hydra list in that early.
Yeah.
And this cannon placement is pretty good, but the thing is, you can't really place too many cannons behind that wall with this pylon placement, so I panic a bit and add another pylon above it just to be safe if I need to add any more cannons.
Yeah.
Alright, let's X2 it a bit, because this replay game does go for quite some time.
Don't be worried about fast forwarding through and playing through. We can always rewind bits as well, so I reckon always keep the action rolling. Yeah, it's weird because you don't feel like you can click on that thing, but you actually can.
Yeah. So you can see now he's just adding hatcheries because I haven't really played. He's got me by the balls pretty much, like, because I can't apply too much pressure because I know that he's got units out. These 4 zealots they don't have legs, so I'm not going to be able to do too much. My main concern here was that he was going to snipe my forge with the +1. If he sniped my forge with the +1, then I would have been pretty behind. But luckily,
is there a way, if the Hydras have range, they can get that without fighting the cannons, right?
Yeah. Like, there are some angles where you can actually hit it and you won't get hit by the cannons.
I think he actually skipped on range though. I don't think he's got it yet. I'm not sure.
I think he only got speed.
Yeah, I think he's just got speed and lurkers.
He spent his gas on lurkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like with this Corsair, I see everything. Yet, I think my reaction wasn't quick enough. You see, I'm just only adding extra gates right now. I'm getting a Templar Archives. I'm getting Storm because I think it's a Hydra all in, but it's actually lurkers. So now I have to rush the robotic facility because with these 3 lurkers, it's going to take a while for me to break out. And now it's just taking over the map.
Yeah. I mean, it takes 2 storms to kill a lurker, right? Like a storm leaves it in a deep red, yeah?
Yeah, a storm is 108 damage over 4 seconds, I believe. So, so 2 storms would kill it. What I like to do is, if there's like isolated lurkers, then I just get an Archon and put a Zealot on top and do splash damage.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he hasn't really spent too much gas on lurkers yet. He kind of has me contained right now. I thought he'd actually keep a more tighter contain with Hydra Lurker, but it looks like he's just very defensive right now, which I didn't really see.
Yeah, he went like really greedy into like a ton of just defense, like Sunkens and Lurkers everywhere. Wow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so hard to break.
Exactly. The worst thing as a Protoss is trying to break through, and that's why a lot of Zerg players like to take the one of the spare main bases or take the expansion there at least.
Right?
Yeah, they can defend the choke point, and with SimCity, so basically your zealots can't like go into the Sunkens and surround everything, and like a good SimCity with lurkers, Sunkens, spores. Spores are the worst because spores always somehow snipe your observers if you're not careful about it.
They actually, they shoot. They always seem to shoot further than you think. I feel spores in this. They're not like SC2 spores, which always shoot less than you'd expect. But cool. All right. So at this point, I mean, you're a little bit behind. I mean, you can go up to Storm. Do you ever add Reavers into this composition, or is it pretty much just always like Storm Gateway for life?
You get Reavers when they get Hive Tech, so by the time they get Hive Tech though, you should be on at least 3 gas going to your 4th, but I noticed Glow actually rushed his Defilers really quickly. 12 minutes is really quick in this matchup these days, because a lot of the Zergs, they prefer to stick on Hydra Lurk and then just contain the hell out of you.
Because Dark Swarm's not as useful versus Protoss, right? So it's more
because
about the
Zealots
play.
still attack under the Swarm, so yeah, it's mainly just to negate Dragoons. But you see here I'm trying to push into this 6 o'clock base, but I get too scared of the Dark Swarm. I don't really have too much melee. I only have these Zealots, the 2 Zealots and the Archon, so I don't really feel confident pushing in. In hindsight though, he's only got 1 Lurker there, so I could have just pushed in easily. But that's the power of the Defiler, is that it's something that scares you when in reality it's not that scary.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you see he's trying to do a counterattack here with this small force near my mineral expansion, but luckily I've got these Temper, so I should be able to hold it off for a bit. I should have pushed in with these this small group that I had at 6 o'clock, but I know this game's hard, so it's hard to multitask.
Yeah, it's like when you got the replay open, it's easy to see mistakes, but in the game it's pretty hard.
Yeah. And yeah, my goal right now is to try and take that 12 o'clock base, but he's just got me contained with this nice force, and now he's got ultras, and
Space
even though
man.
even though his upgrades aren't that great, they're only 1/1. Ultras are just really tanky, and they take less damage from Zealots. So that's why you need Reavers and Archons in your death ball when you approach the late game, because Reavers do a lot of splash damage. They do full damage to your Ultra list. Obviously, Archons do splash damage as well, and they wipe out Zerglings pretty quickly, just as in SE2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I have, like looking back into this game, I think the advantage that I had right here is I've got air dominance. I've got a nice group of Corsairs. They can take out Overlords willy-nilly. The only problem is if he just parks those Corsairs over a group of Hydras or Spores, then there's not really much I can do, but at least I can deny air control, so I know that he won't be able to transition to Mulus until he decides to invest gas into Scourge, which I believe he doesn't really do until way later in the game.
Yeah. And then he just barely kind of gets on your 3rd and does enough damage. Like if you just like that 1 Lurker did so much here. He just did so much damage to the probes. Didn't kill too many, but he's just been sitting here. Like if you just manage to defend this probe line, keep it fully intact, and then secure this 4th, like I feel like you'd still be in a good position since you took out the 6 o'clock and he doesn't have any mining in the bottom left yet. Oh, you took out the bottom left as well. You took out the 7 o'clock. Wow.
Oh yeah, no, I think he just sent a drone there.
Oh, he just didn't build it, right?
Yeah, they didn't build it yet. He just has the Zerglings there, because I think I had left like a Zealot there or something, so yeah, now you can see I'm trying to take this 12, but my dilemma right now is that do I defend my mineral natural, which is easier, but it doesn't have a gas, or do I send units to defend the 12 o'clock, because there's a lot of angles that I need to consider, and I have such a low unit count right now because I've been just skirmishing all over the map that it's really hard to keep like a tight death ball together that can go back and forth.
Yeah. You need some immortals, man.
I need a warp prism so I can warp stuff everywhere.
Yeah. I like the DT counter though. Like whenever your back's up against a wall, I feel like the best decision is to go and try and just pull them away from you, because if you just kind of trying to break out, only pushing in one direction, they're going to be able to control everything perfectly, and everything's going to go to shit.
The best way of coming back in this matchup is doing a lot of harassment. Because you got, if you take out the drones, then they need to spend that lava re-droning, because they're not going to have money to spend it on units or whatever. It's that classic dynamic of, five as a man, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see this DT at the bottom left. I've pretty much denied it because I know that he won't have overlords around the map because I've got those Corsairs taking over. But the thing is, at least at my skill level, it's really hard to keep the Corsairs active around the map.
Without losing them,
yeah, exactly. Because you see at the bottom right, I just have them camped there. So that's just more of a multitasking / skill thing than anything. rather than decision making.
Yeah. I feel like Protoss always feels like they need to build Corsairs, and like the reason I really enjoyed this matchup at first is I felt like the Hydraling Lurker is pretty easy to use, and you can, you know, use it for such an extended period in this matchup, and it's always kind of decent. And yeah, it always felt like Protoss players, you know, when I'm playing all these players at the basic 1500 MMR, and it's like all the Corsairs do is kill an Overlord, and then they all just fly into Hydras and die after scouting a little bit every single game.
Exactly.
And it's just like lol.
Like Corsairs get better exponentially, so the more Corsairs you lose, you feel kind of demotivated when you're playing the games. Like, oh, I keep losing these Corsairs. Is it really worth me rebuilding them? But especially once you get the +1 air weapons, a flock of Corsairs are just it gets big enough that the Zerg has to respect the fact that you have those Corsairs, and you gotta deal with it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I shut down that bottom left. I think I killed this 6 o'clock base, and this is where I'm like, okay, I've killed the 6 o'clock base. I nearly get a juicy Reaver shot there in Mineral Natural, but I missed it. Yeah, so I think I get the 6 o'clock. Maybe not. This is actually a lot of units that the Zerg has. Yeah, and he gets the swarm off, so it's like, okay, maybe I should move back a bit.
Youch.
But yeah, you can see, what is it, it's 19 minutes into this game. This is what I love about StarCraft. It's so scrappy if you want to make it out to be scrappy. And we're not like, in something like StarCraft 2, you'd be probably sitting at 200 with like 5 bases. Here, we've not even sniffed maxing out.
Exactly. It's really funny, because there's so many moments where my SC2 brain, and this always happens, where I'm like, I win now, because I got X advantage, and then I'm like, oh. And I kind of do. A lot of the time I have actually won, but like I need to keep working for another 10 minutes to close it out, you know? There's no like easy victory in this game. Like if your opponent wants to fight, then you're gonna have to fight for it as well. Doesn't matter how far ahead you are.
That's mainly the defender's advantage is so much stronger in StarCraft 1 than it is in StarCraft 2. Especially say for a matchup, actually not a matchup. Player gets a Terran with tanks. You know that you can't. You know you've got the game won in your head. You've got like the whole map. You know you have maxed arming, but the Terran has like siege tanks with 3/3, and then there's no way you're gonna break through that unless you have like 50 million carries or something. So yeah, the decision making behind finishing a game is very, very in depth, like very deep.
Yeah. There's a lot of choking people out, you know. You take position on the map and you deny expansions, and rather than just trying to force your way in, it's a lot of like, okay, I'm ahead, so I'm gonna set up outside here just to constrain you, and I'm gonna do some harassment here and here because I can afford to not have those units with my main army. Like, I feel like it's like, that's my approach anyway, is like, let's set up forward defense and like choke my opponent out, rather than let's just grab everything and try to punch him in the face, which often works in StarCraft 2, but doesn't work very much in Blue War.
Like, I think a concept that a lot of beginning players, I guess this is just in RTS in general, is utilizing the space that you have around the map. I think a good tip for those people that are like just getting to RTS is to look at the maps first. Because a lot of like beginning players, they'll just blindly A move and just go through the middle of the map the quickest way. Like the concept of, you know, zone control and controlling areas of the map is really important, especially in a game, especially in Brood War compared to StarCraft 2. When, you know, moving your army around and all that stuff.
So you're looking pretty good in this game now. You've the problem is the 4th base, like it's still not really mining.
It's very bare right now, and I should be working on the rally point. I should have rallied it to maybe the 4th base, but I'm just too occupied just trying to deny the Zerg spaces here.
Yeah, your probe count like overall is not that high, even though you could,
no, because I was really crippled by that. Yeah. Yeah, I was really crippled by that that attack 10 minutes or so ago. So.
Yeah, and Zerg units are so damn cheap. Even though he's down on supply, like Zerg you know, supply doesn't really tell the story in
No,
in Grid
exactly.
War. Not at
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Like a maxed out Zerg army is always going to stomp a maxed out Protoss army.
Todd would not be able to commentate this game.
You cannot look at the supply.
Look at the... Oh, it meant nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, I shut down this mineral natural, but the problem is I lose a majority of my tech units. So I
Ooh,
lost
and your
my high
units are
templars. I lost
trailing in, right?
my exactly. I've lost a lot of my good units, which I don't want to do at this point of the game. I want to keep those good units because I'm not going to be able to afford them. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to afford zealots because I've got this mineral natural going. But something that's, I don't know if you noticed, but in Brood War, you still keep your gases if they become depleted, but you only get 2 gas per trip as opposed to 8. So you can still use them, but it's not really an effective source of gas income.
Yeah.
So effectively, I'm on. Well, I haven't even taken this 12 gas yet, so I'm on.
You're on
what is it, like-
you're on half a gas geyser right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your gas income's and these are plus 3/3 cracklings now. His +3 carapace just finished.
Yeah,
and you've
so,
only
so
got
he's,
+3
he's caught up on
attack.
upgrades because
Yeah.
when he got his ultras out, I was at +2 when he was only at 1/1. So I had a real clear upgrade advantage then. But right now it's very well. He's caught up. So
Does it work the same as an SC2 where zealots have 2 attacks and each gets affected by armor, or
yes. So
so it's
that's why
back
a
to
lot
3
of
shots right now?
yes. So that's why a lot of actually no, it should be 2 shots. We got what is it?
Sorry, yeah, back to 2
22.
shots. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm at +3. So once I get to +3, that's like the Zerg can't do anything about it. The Lings will die in 2 shots.
Oh wait, no, sorry.
Wait.
No.
Math, yeah.
If it works like StarCraft, then it cancels out entirely. If it works like SC2. Yeah, because
I don't know, but
'cause
like
it's-
my
yeah.
the rule of thumb is that every +1 that you're ahead of the Zerg, you're 2 shot.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he has caught up. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
I
the
can't
thing
math.
is when you hit this point, the Zerglings suddenly hit a point where Zealots just are nowhere near as good against them. They lose 33% efficiency with that upgrade, which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
massive.
So that's why in this matchup, it's like a race to get the +1 weapon, and the Zerg races to get the +1 carapace because they want to like negate as much as possible of the upgrade advantage.
Yeah. I feel like with a Forge Fast expand, that Protoss is going to have pretty big windows where they're ahead anyway. So my approach, and you know, obviously it's just what I've made up on the spot, and because I've heard about that, is just go melee and range. I'm just like, nah, you can keep the 2 shots because the carapace upgrades on the Zerglings are entirely useless whenever the Protoss is ahead and upgrade. So I'm giving up those windows of parity where it takes it back to 3 zealot hits to kill a Zergling for just saying, well, at least I'm not wasting the money for the points where they are up ahead, if that makes sense. So basically, yeah, it's kind of a choice there, and that's because I play very Hydra heavy because I'm a noob and I like massing shitty ranged units that I can micro really easily, and I don't have to box 3 times as much like with Zerglings. But yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like that's something pros ever do, or do they always go carapace?
No. If you're going for like range heavy units like Hydra Lurk, then a lot of pros actually prefer to go for the +1 range because it's better to get that extra firepower than it is to get the armor.
Yeah.
Because the only way you're going to lose that Hydra Lurk army is that if the group of zealots actually get around to your Hydra group and surround you,
Yeah,
and you
so
can't
you gotta,
micro anymore.
as long as you gun them down fast enough, just kill before
Yep.
be killed. Yeah.
Yep. Actually, let me go back to this battle at the Mineral Natural. Okay, this is just skipping forward. This is right. Okay, yeah. So if you go down to his Mineral Natural, this is where I'm like, okay, I gotta make a move somewhere. I gotta find somewhere where he's not gonna have very strong fortifications. So I decided to hit this base right here, and it was a very scrappy battle. He was really lucky that he got this group of Zerglings spawning at these hatcheries. If he didn't have that, then I probably would have taken a better trade. Storms are alright. Still pretty scared of Swarm and Lurkers. And sure, I kill this base off, but I don't get any tech, so he's not going to be behind it all. And he's got all these hatcheries just all over the map, spawning lava. He's got, I think, oh, he doesn't really have much of a bank actually. But for me as well, I'm pretty poor as well. So I like my mindset is that if I win this battle here, and I can march on to his main base, then I win the game. Or march on to where his tech is. Yeah. So that's why I try and keep rallying units over to down here.
Oh man.
But it gets to the point where they're just gonna keep rallying. They're gonna rally units faster to defend it rather than you rallying units over to reinforce.
Yeah.
So it gets to the point where you lose the time against the battle just expires pretty much.
That's actually crazy, man. I thought he was so dead. Like this is the cool thing I'm realizing the more I play is like judging battles is always the thing you suck at in a new RTS. Like it's the same whenever a big patch comes out in SC2. Like you look at a fight and you totally misjudge it. I thought he was so dead there, man. I was like, there's no way we just like he doesn't have that many like lurkers. There's no ultras. Yeah, he's got a bit of Darkstorm. You got plenty of Archons and Storm, and then those Zergons just kept coming from every side over and over again. I was like, oh my god.
And I think a problem that a lot of lower level players in Brood War have is that they get too fixated with the battle. And what's important is that the way that Zerg works in Brood War is just basically just swarming your opponent with units, and like so much that sure they're cheap, they're weak, but it's gonna get to a point where they're not gonna be able to handle everything.
Yeah.
Because Storm's gonna run out eventually. Reavers is gonna lose Scarabs, and that's actually the thing that I enjoy about playing Zerg. In like when I was like a young guy playing this game, I didn't really like Zerg much at all. But growing up watching plays like Savior, Jaedong, and watching how they operated Zerg in a non-Zergy way, Zergy and non-Zergy way, it kind of like made me appreciate how good Zerg is, like how fun Zerg is as a race.
Oh yeah. Man, he's like hanging on for dear life this game, but now he's secured this corner. He's got this like sick defense on the left-hand side. Oof.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to attack this mineral natural because I've realized that okay, I cannot let him take this bottom left. If I let him saturate that bottom left, then I've completely lost the game. And when I see these ultras, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I've lost it.
He gets a Ling counter and catches a bunch of High Templar coming across the map, and then he goes, and he goes to the top left. I think your cannons will hold on him, but I don't know. With 3/3 cracklings, I feel like 2 Lings beat a cannon. So I don't know if that's me misjudging. Let's watch this.
Like the main concern will be Dark Swarm. Like if he had Dark Swarm without those Lings, then those Lings will obviously win. But yeah, he wasn't paying attention to it. But I think he sends like a crack force like Lurkling to take it out. So
yeah. Oh man, 3/3 crackling is so good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Do you think it would have been better like if you kept your upgrades going a little bit more maybe earlier in the game, since it has been such a long game? Obviously losing the Forge was a big hit, but like if you had like +2, +3 armor, it would make a really big difference, right?
Armor in this matchup, armor no. It is obviously nice to have, but it's all about the weapons for Protoss. You know, just to get that, actually, your bulk of the army is ground units, obviously. So, I think the main problem I had was that I didn't take advantage of the window where I had better upgrades than the Zerg. So, like as I mentioned before, like maybe 20 minutes or 15 minutes ago in the game, the Protoss, the Zerg was at +1/+1, and I was at +3. That would have been the best time to take advantage of my upgrade advantage and control the map, but I didn't really do that properly. I was more content skirmishing and taking out bases when I can, rather than having a huge death ball.
Yeah.
And you can see at the bottom left, I did like a High Templar Zealot drop, but he's got units there, and it doesn't really amount to much. And it just shows like, you can see he doesn't really have too many drones, but he has enough drones that he can just keep rebuilding units over and over.
Just taking a look at the chat. What up, guys? Hey. Yeah, we're just watching this. This is a tournament game from yesterday, which GTR here was playing as Protoss against a Singaporean player. Glow. And a friggin' epic game, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so right now I'm just
Dead.
He's taking out my top left base. I know he's gonna eventually take out this 12 o'clock, so I'm just in my head. I was like, okay, I just got to do something, like just try and figure out a way of getting back into this game. And you can tell, like this is the time where you can go look at their supply because the Zerg's ahead of me.
Yeah, if Zerg's ever ahead in supply, it's like pretty much over, right?
Yep, yeah, in Brood War, definitely. And he's really doing a really nice job with these Ling run bys. Like Cracklings just randomly A moved around the map, catch units so often.
Oh yeah. Man, 3-3 Cracklings are just insane. Holy shit, I love them.
And you can see I'm like trying to retreat right now because I'm trying to like group my army together, but yeah, I think it's just too little too late. It just got way too much.
Yeah. Like, it's really weird. When the Crackling upgrade's done, like definitely they're obscenely good. Having armor upgrades, I think, it's one of those things where it's like, this would be nice, but yeah, I think your overall goal is not really to let the Zerg get out of control, right? Like, you got to keep the Zerg in check. Like, once they get up enough economy and they're at high tech, it's like, well, you better be already set up in between their bases kind of thing, right? You better be like already like in a good advantageous position with your own 5 bases. And if there is a technical end game though, would it just be carriers? Carriers are like the best unit, right?
It'll mainly be Archon, High Templar, Reaver.
Why not carriers?
Carriers are just really Scourge. That's basically it.
So Scourge are actually good versus carriers, yeah?
Yeah, because it takes like maybe 4 Scourge to kill a carrier, 4 or 5. But for the cost of a carrier, you can just invest that into better units against a Zerg.
Yeah, yeah.
Like for example, for 1 shuttle and 2 DTs, that's like a cost of a carrier approximately. So I'd rather get that and do some harassment rather than just like getting one whole carrier that's has so many counters. Oh, also Darkstorm and Hydralisk. Forgot about that.
Because Darkstorm doesn't protect air units either, so you can even drop it underneath the carriers, right?
Yeah, exactly, and you can just move forward, and they can't attack you unless they have Archons or Reavers or Storm. But was there anything in this game that you wanted to go back to or talk about?
I don't think so. I think this was a pretty good overview, like of this one. I think this was pretty good. I think the stream learned a lot. There's a few guys in chat saying they learned a lot from this.
Let's
Yeah, I think early on, you know, there was some different things that went on. I mean, that was such a long game that I reckon we might leave it there and just go back to gameplay for a little bit, because I got Rachel coming up next, and might keep the action going for some of the guys who are a little bit less, because we got so much information from that anyway. JRath says he learned nothing. We watching the wrong stream then, JRath. Go watch Jadong's stream or something, man.
Yeah, learn some Korean and watch the Koreans. But like honestly, I think this, like, to be frank, this sort of analysis is like pretty rare to find in English streams. So yeah, I think you guys are lucky that we did something like that.
I think it's really cool, and it's something I like to do once in a while. Just kind of talk about the game on stream and actually think about it, because there's so many little things where I'm just like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think the best thing about StarCraft is just talking about the game and going over stuff. If you don't have that group of friends, that's why a lot of people just leave the game, because, you know, they just sit there and just ladder all day, but they don't actually talk about the game with other people. Yeah,
and then you have a bad run in a certain meta. You could run up against a wall, which we all do, and then you're just like, fuck this game, it's broken. It's just
exactly.
It's like, really? Okay, yeah.
And you're more vulnerable to that in Brood War because it's such a hard game.
Yeah.
And even if you master the mechanics, you still got to master like the game itself.
Oh yeah. I know you were joking, J-Wrath. I know you. I was just being a dick. Cool, man. All right, I'm gonna go play a few more ladder games in a sec. Yeah. Thanks for the.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks for the analysis. We'll do it again another day.
Yeah, no worries. Man. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. See ya.
See you, bro.